G'day there guys, my name's Marky, and welcome back to some more stories from Reddit. Hope you enjoy. Am I the asshole here for breaking up with my boyfriend because I had a bad feeling about his best friend and him, and decided to avoid drama? I, 22 female, was always a really chill person. I've always gotten along with everyone, and I really appreciate my mental peace. I hate unnecessary drama. I've been dating Zach for 3 years. He's always had his best friend Mia, who was studying in another country. They've always talked via text or video call. That never interested me at all because I also have male friends. Mia was always disinterested when Zach was by my side on his video calls, and I wasn't interested in her either, to be honest, but Zach wanted us to be friends, so I tried. Mia listens to the same music as me, so once 3 years ago, I texted her on WhatsApp to try to have a friendly conversation, but she saw the message and never answered me and blocked my number. I thought, what a rude biznatch, but I let it go and never talked about it to Zach, so I wouldn't make trouble. I just think that maybe she doesn't want to make friends, and I respect that. Not long ago, she returned to our country to stay and live here again. Zach asked me if she could stay in our apartment, and I said no, because I don't feel comfortable with people staying there. Apparently, Zach told her that I was the one who refused to let her be with us because Mia has been doing everything to criticize me since that day. She has criticized my work, my studies, my hair, my clothes, etc. Zach always says that's just how Mia is, and I should be her friend because she's really funny. Many times, she tried to make me jealous with comments like, "You know that I used to take baths with Zach when we were little kids?" And she would get upset when I just said, "Alright," at those random comments because, what the hell? Why should I be jealous of that? She sits on Zach's lap. He doesn't say anything to her about that, even if he knows that I don't like it. He cuddles with her every time they have a chance, they whisper to each other and go out together sometimes, and I obviously can't help but think that in any moment I will come back to the apartment and she will be wearing one of his shirts, and I just don't want to deal with that, to be honest. The worst thing is that Zach really seems to like seeing me jealous. When I tell him something is bothering me, he laughs, saying, "Aw, you're jelly," and stuff like that, without taking me seriously. It's pretty annoying to know that he likes me to feel that way, and Mia has been really irritable lately, as if she's competing with me. It feels like they're trying to make a novella with me. She always tries to make me jealous with stupid things, like when she said she knows Zach's favorite sushi and I don't, to which I replied, "Then buy sushi for everyone, because I don't care at all." I've told Zach on several occasions that his friend is an idiot, and he just says that Mia is like that and that I should just ignore her comments. But honestly, I don't have the energy to deal with that girl and not beat her up at the end of the month. So I told Zach that I'm gonna move out, and it's better to give ourselves some time. I haven't moved yet, so he's been coming to my room to tell me that I'm letting my insecurities speak for me, and he doesn't feel anything for Mia. I told him that I'm not insecure, I just want to protect my mental peace and avoid drama. He got angry, saying that I should fight for him and not be so apathetic. He said that if I love him, I would be fighting for him, but I've always had the philosophy that if someone wants to cheat on you, they will do it, even if you say no. I don't know if I'm being too cold about this, but I'm not the kind of person who enjoys drama. I was always the cold type of person. I hate it, and I know Zach and Mia are enjoying this love triangle. I really care about Zach, and we had a great relationship, but I care much more about my mental health. Am I the asshole here? Edit. I haven't moved out yet because we pay rent together. The whole month of the rent has already been paid by me because he couldn't come up with the money to pay for this month, but he's supposed to pay for the next month. And guys, I don't have a problem with this. He didn't take advantage of me or anything. Something happened and he ran out of money for rent. Nothing about this. Plus, I have to wait for my parents to fix my room again, so for now, I have to leave my things here. At the beginning of the year, the lease was updated, so I spent a lot of money on that. As well, rent went up by 40%, so it's wasted money now. I'm pretty sad about that since my father was the one who helped me pay for my part of the expenses of that apartment. In the comments, ZeldaPin says, "If he isn't fighting for you, why should you fight for him?" Yes, if he loved her, he would respect reasonable boundaries and ask his friend to take a step back when she crosses them. He clearly is enjoying having two women be jealous and fight over him enough to actually be super vocal about enjoying jealousy, which most men who enjoy this situation are not stupid enough to do. It seems like he enjoys the jealousy so much that he would go out of his way to create situations that would promote it, probably edging closer and closer to cheating. Seriously, I can't believe you won't fight for me when other women sit on my lap. Don't you know that you should strip your clothes off and offer a threesome to win my attention back? Him, essentially. You should never have to fight for the respect or attention of your partner. This is called triangulation, bringing in a third person to 1. Make you feel insecure, and 2. Make you jump through hoops to win his love. If you stay, he can always do whatever he wants, otherwise he will threaten to leave you with side piece. She'll be constant competition in your lives. That's the worst red flag. Run. I think he wants her to do the pick-me dance just to stroke his ego. It's not worth it. Not the asshole. Tell him that when two people actually love each other, there is no need to fight for the other person's love. There isn't a reason why you have to deal with another woman sitting on his lap and flirting with you. She isn't respecting you, and he isn't respecting your relationship. Dump his ass and move on. You'll find an amazing person to be with. Agreed, this is just far too much drama for one day. It's doing my head in. I don't know how you have the patience to put up with all of this, but bless you for sticking it out this long, OP. You got a bad feeling about it, trust your guts, and just break it off. Get out of there and live your life with someone that actually respects you, not the asshole. And now, onto the updates. I discovered Mia was sleeping with Zach. She's expecting his baby, and they kicked me out from the apartment, but I'm pregnant too. Nah, that didn't happen. I spoke with Zach to ask him to have a good coexistence, because I'm going to stay a few more months here, because after talking a little bit with him and my father, we came to the conclusion that it's better for us to both continue living together in a healthy way. We both have our bedrooms. After all, he promised me that he wouldn't enter my bedroom without an invitation and apologized for doing that before. There are many reasons why we should continue to live together until at least the lease expires, but I'm not going to bore everyone with those reasons. But most of those reasons are because of money and how expensive the bus would be to get from my home to my work and college every day if I come back to my parents' house. We both cried, and I asked Zach what he expected to happen when I saw him treat Mia that way. He admitted that he likes the way I look when I'm upset. He said it's a self-esteem issue he has, but he needs me to show him all the time that I love him, and the fact that I never reacted affected him a lot. Honestly, he's attractive. I know he's always been pretty conceited, but I used to think that was the way he was. But now I see that it's actually a problem he has. Narcissism. Zach said that when he sees that I don't get jealous in the way that he likes, he feels annoyed and even more insecure because he thinks that I don't love him because he does always show me when he is jealous. He said he doesn't have feelings for Mia at all, but he likes to see my face when she talks to me that way. Zach knows that Mia likes him, but he said that she's like that with all her male friends too, and at first he thought that it was funny to see my annoyed face, but then it started to bother him, the fact I never reacted. I did react, but it was talking like an adult. He probably wanted me to yell and pull her hair. The worst part? I was going to do it 100% if she kept behaving that way, and that's why I decided to cut off the relationship before I reacted that way. Zach even mentioned other times he wanted me to be jealous about other girls. But honestly, I had no idea he did that, because I think if someone's going to cheat on you, they're going to do it even if you tell them not to. I'm not going to fight for a penis. I told him that he is a weird idiot, and his insecurity ruined our relationship. I had that thought of, did I really sleep with this person? So now I want the earth to swallow me. He has always been very kind, and we had a beautiful relationship, but I just can't forget that behavior and the fact he made me feel bad about Mia. Our conversation was pretty calm after that. Zach admitted that he ruined our relationship, and I made it clear to him that we won't be a couple again. I'm a little bit uncomfortable, but surely as the days go by, we can be friends, or at least be civil with each other. At the end of the day, we're both looking for different things in a couple. He wants a passionate woman who feels things just as intensely as he does, in his words, and I want a mature and focused man to live in peace. I think I'm too cold for him, and he's looking for another kind of woman. Anyway, just know that no, I'm not going to be in a relationship with Zach again. That boat is already gone. For now, I just want to try to make this coexistence work, since we both know that it is what it is, and it's convenient for us, and at least for my part, I am not going to screw it up. Some of OP's answers about Mia. OP says, Zach told me that he made it clear to Mia that he's not going to sleep with her, but he also said that Mia is flirtatious with everyone, and he kinda justified her behavior, so yeah, according to Zach, Mia knows everything. But that's what Zach said, so who knows if it's true or not. For my part, they can both F off, and I don't plan on talking to Mia again. Mia knows. I think they both just like the attention. In the comments, my ladybit says, Zach is a moron. He will absolutely sleep with Mia while OP is still living there to get a reaction. OP, grey rock your ex. OP says, he's not going to get any reaction anyway. If they do, I hope it's in his room so that I can watch the TV in peace. Ugh, I just hope that OP blocks Zach the instant the lease is up and never gives him another thought. Jealous insecurity is not passion. If she dates before she moves out, that idiot is going to lose the 3 marbles rattling around his head. Well, how generous of you to assume that he has as many as 3. This is probably the healthiest way that OP could have handled the situation. It sucks that she's locked in the lease though, but honestly, the bus fare might have been worth it to avoid the drama. For how dramatic that situation could have been, OP waltzed through the war zone and came out unscathed. She's pretty damn great at squashing brewing drama and not engaging in existing drama. I'm quite impressed. Partners who talk about their deep feelings in a calm, healthy, and productive fashion, while also giving their partners the time to make an effective change, while still recognizing their own behavior and choosing to maintain a personal boundary? So hot right now. Me when I get brainwashed to kill the Malaysian Prime Minister? But yeah, that was a pretty good way to handle it. You know, so anticlimactic and so mature, OP. We're all about fights, immaturity, and doing the worst thing possible, handling situations in the worst way possible. How dare you come here and tarnish our sacred ground, OP? I spit in your general direction for that one. Disgusting. But regardless, you know, you are very much mentally strong. I don't know how you deal with all that bullshit, but good on you. And as always, thank you for sharing the story with us. Our next post is by user Accident Number 2, titled, Am I the asshole for not letting my husband come back? I, 23 female, have been with my husband, 27 male, for almost 3 years. We eloped and almost immediately were expecting. We were both very excited and everything was perfect until the baby came. Our daughter is 1 now. For the entire first year of her life, he came home from work, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day, and immediately took a nap that ranged from 2 to 4 hours long. On his days off, he insisted that I get up with her while he slept in, and when he finally did get up, he gamed until he was ready for his daily nap. The household chores started piling up because I was caring for our daughter full-time and working from home nearly 60 hours a week. I expressed feeling like I was doing everything on my own and I needed help with the household chores or for him to watch her so that I could take care of the house. He was dismissive and said he actually goes to work and wants to be able to relax when he comes home. An argument breaks out, I cry, he takes her for an hour, and I do what I can in that time. This cycle continues. This argument happened at least 7 times before she was 8 months old. Right after she reached 7 months, we got a vacate or pay notice. I had given him control of the finances because it was too much for me to balance a baby, maintain the house, and work. I asked him about it and he said that it was fine. He just had to wait for his paycheck. Ultimately, I found out that he was buying fast food for lunch every day at work and sometimes on the way home and eating it in the car so that I wouldn't know. McDonald's was single-handedly draining our bank accounts. Our bank accounts, not just his. I didn't leave the house very often unless it was for grocery shopping, so I didn't notice that he had my debit card as well. We ended up not being able to pay rent. We moved into the family room in my mum's basement. Several key events happened that you need for context. I sold my car so that we could have some money, but so stupidly put the money into my bank account instead of holding onto it. We now had only one car. He lost his job due to attendance issues, consistently calling out and being late, and got a new job with less hours and less pay. I got laid off because the contract I was working under in my company expired, and their partners did not want to renew it. We decided that it would be easier for me to just stay home with the baby instead of finding a job outside the home. Really, it would just require us to put my daughter in daycare so I could go work, but we didn't have the money, and he was still spending money recklessly, so we weren't able to save up any money for it. My mum removed me as a second beneficiary on her will because she didn't trust that my husband would allow me to have control of the money that I would get to take care of my 2 minor siblings. That turned into a huge argument between him and I because I see why my mum chose to do that. I told him that he needs to start acting like a responsible adult who has a child to provide for because I would leave him if his behavior came between me and my ability to take care of my family. He reluctantly gave me all the debit cards and said something along the lines of, "It's great to know that your whole family thinks I'm so terrible." We got our tax return and the money got spent on a PS5, a year-long PS Plus membership, games for the PS5, and fast food. More context events. He started being protective of his phone. He won't let me use it for a quick search, to call my phone when I can't find it, or even just for the flashlight. He started drinking frequently and wanting to go to a nearby dive bar by himself, claiming he wanted to be alone and insisting that he doesn't want me to go. He got a boot on the car while he was at said bar. He called me at 2 a.m. asking if I had $105 in my Venmo so that he could pay to get the boot off. I did not. I got mad and told him to figure it out himself. He came home and I confronted him about our financial situation. I asked for the receipt or service ticket from the boot, and he said he didn't get either of those from the security people. He said he'll turn over all financial control to me. Spoiler, he doesn't follow through. Flash forward to the Wednesday after her first birthday. I want to take a shower at around 2 before I go to my sister's rugby game at 5. I ask him to watch our daughter so that I can go shower. He makes a big deal of having to start prep for dinner and that he was about to eat lunch. I told him I can wait. I just need to be in the shower by 3:30 so I can have time to get myself and the baby ready to go by 4:30 when we need to leave. He says, "Okay, I think I can do that. In the future, it'd be easier if you showered at night when she's sleeping." I had a physical response to that comment. To this point of her entire life, I had only been doing exactly that. And at this point, her molars are coming in, so she's not sleeping well. Just a couple of days before this conversation, I had tried to shower after she went to sleep, but she didn't stay asleep. Instead of getting up and trying to soothe her, he called me and said, "Where are you?" "I'm in the shower." "Well, she's awake." "Okay, then help her." "Well, I have to work in the morning." "Okay, I'm in the shower." "Well, just get out and come take care of her." Back to the current conversation, we start arguing about him not being available to help with her. I told him that he always finds some excuse to avoid taking care of her, and he says he doesn't know how to take care of a baby. In the end, he watches her while I shower, but while watching her, packs away his PS5 and makes a point of telling me that since he is so unavailable, he just won't do anything he wants to do. That Friday is my cousin's 18th birthday. We have a tradition of taking the new adults to the strip club, and I was so excited to go. I asked my husband if he would watch her while I go. I explained that she would already be in bed and that I wouldn't need the car or money because I was getting a ride and someone was going to pay my cover fee. I wasn't interested in getting dances, just hanging out and making fun of my cousin as he awkwardly gets some TNA shaken in his face. He, surprisingly, agrees with no resistance. I go and vent to my aunt and female cousin about the shower arguments. We stop by the bar next door while my cousin gets a private dance and I have a couple drinks. By the time I got home, I was hyped up on spiced rum and "F that, I would have left already" responses. I go through his phone while he's sleeping. I found messages and messages with other women on his phone that include flirting, exchanging nudes, and him asking if they can host because he has roommates. Some of them are escorts that work the area around the dive bar that he's been going to lately, and I had a flashback to the Boots situation. I screenshotted all the messages and sent them to myself. I looked through his bank statements and Venmo transactions to see that he's been pulling all of our money out in cash, so there's no way of knowing where it's going. I messaged him, yes, he was sleeping in the bed next to me while I did all of this, and just go off. I let out all my thoughts and feelings about our financial situation, him avoiding taking care of our daughter, the messages, and how I feel for having let him manipulate me for all this time. When he woke up to that, his first question to me was, "Why did you go through my phone?" Needless to say, we separated. I didn't and haven't used the word divorce to him, but that may be the end result. He kept talking about how he has nowhere to go and that I'm throwing him out on the street, and then switching over to he loves me so much and he'll do anything to keep me in his life, and then spitefully saying that he's gonna do better and succeed and you'll see. I stood my ground and made him leave. I laid out my expectations, saying I won't even consider taking him back until he consistently goes to therapy, which I expect him to continue if I take him back, and if he shows me he can be financially responsible for even one person, himself, and makes an effort to maintain a relationship with our daughter, not me. It's been 2 weeks, and things have been awful. I've been literally taking notes on things that are happening because I know this traumatized brain of mine is not going to remember how I've been feeling throughout the process or how I felt the day that I told him to leave. It's been 2 weeks, and I already have 8 pages of notes about negative interactions that I've had with him, in contrast with the single paragraph of something positive that he did. Last night, he told me he's scared that he's going to do all of this for nothing, that I won't take him back even if he tries his best, and that he just wants to come home. I want things to work out because we were happy once. Maybe I'm holding out for nothing. He has constantly made me feel like I'm the bad guy for not letting him stay with me while he makes the changes I expect of him. Now I have these thoughts in my head. Am I the bad guy? Should I have tried to let him make changes while staying in the home? I just need some outside perspective, whether it's reassuring or constructive. Thank you. In the comments, Curious Josh says, "Not the asshole. It's important to ask, is this a good partner now? And although that's not to say that it couldn't change in the future, doesn't it seem like it's pretty clear in the present? It sounds like you're doing the right thing and documenting the interactions and how they make you feel so that you can try to remain objective. You are not crazy." OP says, "Thank you. Welcome. Is it good to hear that you're not crazy? FYI, one thing I'd add is if he does therapy, and you even want to consider having him back, you may want to consider couples therapy. I always say relationships involve 2 people, and possibly there's things to work on between you 2 as well, which could help things to work out. As much as one person is acting out, there's almost always valid grievance on both sides that resolving will help a relationship to work in the long run. But I think you're smart in realizing that he hasn't taken these steps yet and needs to show real signs of change, not just sadness that his world is upside down because of his actions. Also, looking at things objectively, you have evidence of cheating, escorts, and large amounts of money disappearing, so a family with 2 incomes can't afford an apartment? That's a very concerning set of red flags to consider. OP says, "Yes, it is nice to hear. And yes, I am also seeking therapy independently. I told him that if it looks like things are going well, we should go to couples counseling and therapy. That guy is an effing loser, and it isn't going to change. It's his nature. Don't waste another second with this nonsense." I'm getting last comment syndrome. OP, I really don't want to punch down on you when you're at a low point here, but come on. He's a pathetic, disgusting loser. How did you even have a baby with this person? Genuinely, how did you not date him for so long and see how inept he was, especially with finances, especially with junk food addiction, and with gaming addiction? Why did you have a child with this person? He doesn't deserve you. How did you put up with it for so long? Like, genuinely, how did you go a year with this guy? I would think that after a few months and people on the outside being like, you need to get the hell out of there, what the hell are you doing? This guy is a freak. He's a sweaty, lazy, disgusting loser who has no respect for you and the child. He doesn't even want that kid. He just had the kid to keep you around. How did you not leave? I don't know how you didn't leave. Please. Leave now while you have the opportunity to do it, now that you're separated. Please, God, stop having kids with these vile men. It's not worth it. And now, on to the updates. I got divorced. Okay, back in May, I made a post about my now ex-husband's behavior that led us to separating. I mentioned feel like I was holding out on divorce because we were happy once, but since then, things have changed. After making my post, I read every comment that came in, I consulted with my close family members and friends, and within a week, I told him that I wanted to go through with the divorce. He was mad, accused me of seeing someone else, incorrect, and then told all of our mutual friends that I was out to get him, being a hua, and trying to take our daughter away from him, and that I was only divorcing him for looking at porn, i.e. the nudes from the escorts, see previous post. He threatened a couple of times to flee to California as he's on probation and forget that we exist. It just gets worse. He's on probation. Oh my god. He is such a joke of a person. I actually can't deal with this guy. But nevertheless, I kept all the advice and support in mind, stood my ground, and started filling out the papers. My mum and I filled out the divorce papers together. She has been divorced twice and wrote her own papers both times because 1, she could not afford a lawyer, and 2, she is so incredibly smart and resourceful and just figured it out on her own. In case you couldn't tell, I love and admire my mom so much. She's familiar with the process in the state that we live in and knew every document that we needed and how to fill them out or write our own should we need to modify parts of it. I filed, handed the papers to him myself, and told him he has a week to fill out his voluntary affidavit of service and return the papers to the courthouse, or I would have him served by a third party. He did not follow through, and neither did I. I kept putting it off until one day he called me out of the blue to tell me that he had filed it and got the final divorce decree for us to fill out and file. I was a little bit shocked that he wasn't going to fight anything that I put in the papers, but went along with it before he changed his mind. Just for reference, I did in fact do everything in my power to make the divorce fair, because despite the way that I was treated, I was raised better than to be spiteful. She's the opposite of me, for real. I could never. Especially when children are involved. We do not have any expensive property to divide, aside from his car, which he had before we got married. And I gave myself majority custody because, to my knowledge, he was sleeping on his friend's couch while I have her crib, dresser, toys, etc. set up in my room at my mum's house. I also have a much larger support system in the area, so even if I'm struggling financially, I have people I can lean on in those times of need to provide food, diapers, clothes, etc. for her, whereas he does not have that. And that's not a jab at him, that's just a plain fact. We met up the following day, went to the courthouse, filled and filed the final decree. I've already gotten the final decree signed by the judge via mail. It was weird seeing the sudden flip in behavior, but I welcomed it. And then he told me that he has a girlfriend and they're moving in together, yada yada. And my immediate thought was this poor girl is going to get used for her stability. So they are moving in together. She is older than him, has 3 kids of her own, a stable career, and owns a house. I met her, and she seems very nice and friendly. She also made some comments towards him that made me both laugh and feel like she will not tolerate his lack of effort when it comes to being a dad. Whether or not he is using her for her stability and a place to live is not my business. My only concern is the safety and well-being of my child. I did dip my toe into the dating world, but if I'm being honest with myself and everyone else, I'm definitely not ready for that right now, and I took my toe out and thoroughly dried it off. I have myself and my child to focus on right now. That is the update. Thank you to everyone who commented before and helped me to find some common sense, whether your words were gentle or not. It was much needed and much appreciated. In the comments, Tidy Brooklyn says, You've been handling a difficult situation with maturity and a focus on fairness and your child's best interests. You're making thoughtful decisions and setting boundaries that are necessary for your well-being and your child's stability. It sounds like you've really handled everything with a lot of grace. Navigating this kind of a situation is no joke, and it seems like you're making the right choices for yourself and your kid. Just keep your focus on what's best for the both of you, and don't feel rushed into anything else. You got this. I don't know why these deadbeats keep thinking running to California will protect them. California don't play and will F them up with back child support and penalties. Oof. I'm concerned for the baby when it's his custodial time. Then again, I bet he just hands the baby off to his girlfriend, if he shows up for his time at all. He's either going to blow her off because he'd rather play happy families with his new girlfriend, or he'll expect the new girlfriend to do all the work like OP because he doesn't know how to look after a baby. Since the new girlfriend is older, she probably has an actual backbone unlike OP and will kick him out soon enough. Sometimes I really feel for people in tough situations, and sometimes I want to reach through the screen and shake people. Girl, you got evicted. Why does he still have access to your money? The lack of self-esteem among women is really tragic. We've been told for generations to put everyone else's needs in front of our own, that we're overreacting, or that we're too stupid to understand what a man needs. It wasn't until the 1980s that a woman could get her name on a mortgage, the 1970s that a woman could get her own credit card, and it wasn't until the 1960s that a woman could have her own bank account. And then we wonder why it's taking time for us to find our power and to stand up for ourselves. My mom was alive in a time before a woman could have her own bank account, and she's under 70. It is what it is. Unfortunately, situations like this happen, will continue to happen, and I don't think there's anything we can do to stop it. And obviously, it's not just men that do this. There are definitely deadbeat women that do this, but just seems like men do it more often than women from my observation. I'm glad OP is out of there, actually, and it's very weird that he managed to find someone so stable and willing to take him in. Very unusual, but hey, a win is a win in my book. Onwards and upwards from here, OP. Thank you for the story. Our next post is by user I Hate PRP, titled, I, female 25, slept with my roommate, female 26. How do I talk to her about it? So a little backstory. We've been roommates for the past 3 years, and I consider her my best friend. We talk about everything, do everything together, and we know almost everything about each other. I've personally never had any legitimate same-sex experiences, and I don't believe that she has either. We are both single and routinely see each other with guy friends at our apartments and always talk about that stuff, and have never had any conversations about anything other than our typical female-male relationships. We'll cuddle sometimes or make other slightly intimate contact, but nothing I've ever considered outside platonic gesture, since we're really just comfortable with each other. I'd consider myself bi-curious. I'm not explicitly attracted to other females, but I've watched female-on-female porn, and always wondered what it's like, I guess. Well, last night we were having girl time with some wine, and admittedly got a little tipsy. Nothing crazy or anything, though. She had a flight this morning to go back home, so her bed was cluttered with clothes and luggage, so she just decided to sleep with me in my bed since we were already in my room, watching a movie. There was a scene with an awkward kiss, and she started going off about something similar with a recent date she had, and all in good fun, we decided to quickly reenact it. We've kissed before at a party as a dare or some dumb shit, but nothing came of that. Well, long story short, we didn't stop, and kissing led to touching, and then that led to full-blown sex. And, it was effing incredible. She was constantly making sure I was okay, checking in before every next move, and just genuinely made me feel loved and respected throughout. It was almost hilarious at times, and I was surprised at how natural it felt. Like there was no really awkward moments, and we just got lost in the moment together. We ended up cuddling and fell asleep, but never really expanded on what just happened. I think that's when the awkwardness set in, and we both kind of ignored it to not make it awkward. Same thing this morning as we rushed to get ready and I dropped her off at the airport. We didn't talk about it, and casually went on like we normally do. But I definitely felt like there was a 500-ton elephant in the room the entire time. What really sent me on an emotional roller coaster was when she kissed my cheek goodbye and the eye contact after as she smiled. It's been over 6 hours, and I can't get her and last night out of my head, and it's driving me crazy. I keep looking at my phone, waiting for her to message me like I do when I first start talking to someone I really like, and I'm not sure how to process these feelings right now. How do I talk to her about this? I don't know how to even begin to start this conversation with her. I don't know what I'm feeling at the moment, although I'm pretty sure this whole thing has unlocked a part of me that I wasn't aware of. I'm terrified that this could somehow compromise our amazing friendship if I don't approach it in the right way, and I'm completely lost right now. Yes, I want to do it again. Yes, I want to explore this side of me with her. Yes, I find her attractive now. What can I say to make this clear without the possibility of creating other issues? In the comments, Nutella Novella says, I would just text her something simple like, "Last night was amazing. I'd like to talk to you about it, but can we wait until you get back if it's not something you want to talk about over the phone?" That leaves the door open for her to communicate if she wants, or to wait if she'd rather have that conversation in person. Good luck, you two. I'm rooting for you. I once hooked up with a friend for a little bit. Alcohol was also involved, and it was really sweet at the time. Just like she was as she was leaving, and then later, I had this awful feeling that I ruined the friendship. It's less complicated because it wasn't a same-sex situation, but I did ruin the friendship by being an aloof, scared, confused asshole about it. If I were you, I'd just be honest about your feelings when she comes back. If she's not gone for a long time, say basically exactly what you said in the second to last paragraph. You could do it on the phone too, depending on how long she's gone, but I think it would go better in person, and you're going to have to figure this one out either way since you're roommates. OP says, she's going to be gone about 2 weeks. I agree in person would be best, considering our close relationship. I'm just afraid I'll go crazy waiting that long because this has taken such an emotional toll on me in the last 24 hours. FaceTime? Do you normally text a lot? I definitely recommend being able to see each other's faces. If she lights up when you pop on the call, then you have a pretty good answer already. I think you're just going to be stuck in limbo for a couple of weeks otherwise, unfortunately. OP says, we text every day usually, and FaceTime often. It's almost like I could read her face this morning though, and I can't get it out of my head. And you know what, Sunny Jim? Honesty is the best policy. Just be forthright with her about it. You've already had sex. You're already roommates. The worst she can say is no. She's not going to go out there and embarrass you to everyone else that you guys know and be like, oh, look at this lesbian, bisexual weirdo. That would never happen. She would never traumatize you publicly like that, so there's no reason to think that she would do that, OP. Take the advice of everyone else in the comments and put your best foot forward, Sunny Jim. I believe in you. And now, onto the updates. After getting some good advice on here, I just decided to go for it and message her directly about what happened and asked if she wanted to talk about it. She immediately called me on video chat, wondering when I was finally going to say something. We had a really good conversation about everything and kinda started diving into some personal feelings for each other we either suppressed or ignored. Either way, we both came to the same conclusion that we want to give this a try and see where it goes. I contemplated if this was possibly just a knee-jerk reaction to feelings of lust or confusion after an intimate interaction, but after doing some soul-searching for the past couple of days, I realized that it's more than that. She's everything that I've been looking for. The time we spent together is always full of fun experiences and laughter. She understands me, and we can talk about anything. I'm comfortable around her and feel like she's my safe space when I need to let it out. She's my best friend, and while I don't expect that to be the reason this works, I think it's going to be good for me to finally be romantically involved with someone I know makes me happy already. At the end of the day, that is all I care about. Thanks again for those who offered support on my first post. I'm excited to see where this journey takes me. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!